Cardi B just did the unthinkable. To Tasha K, the story begins with a rare calm that rarely surrounds celebrities like Cardi B. Suddenly, a tense vibe spreads across social media. Fans start noticing something unusual, but there's no clear statement, no drama, nothing typical of online celebrity controversies. Slowly, whispers start circulating, and within entertainment circles, the news spreads that Cardi B has done something completely unexpected, something no one saw coming. People are shocked because this isn't an emotional outburst, a rant, or any of her usual public reactions. It's calculated, controlled, and silent. That's what makes it feel more serious and impactful than a normal celebrity dispute. Fans are left both confused and curious because Cardi B is known for speaking her mind openly. But this time, her approach is entirely different. Everyone is asking, what could she have done that speaks so loudly without a single word? This is the moment where the tension hooks the audience, making them eager to find out the story behind the unthinkable move. To truly understand the magnitude of Cardi B's move, we need to go back and look at the tension that had been quietly building between her and Tasha K. Over the past months, there had been multiple incidents that fueled the rivalry. Social media posts, interviews, and subtle comments that kept fans and the media on edge. While some of these moments seem minor at the time, they slowly added up, creating a mix of personal and professional friction. Cardi B, being a global superstar, had every reason to rise above petty drama, yet the repeated mentions and controversies had put her reputation under a microscope. On the other hand, Tasha K, a well-known media personality, had a reputation for stirring conversations and provoking reactions from celebrities. Their interactions were often tense, with fans and industry insiders debating who was right and who had overstepped. The situation wasn't just about gossip. It had become a matter of respect, influence, and public image. Understanding this backstory is essential because it sets the stage for why Cardi B's next move would feel so unexpected and, in many ways, powerful. It wasn't a simple response. It was a culmination of months of silent calculation and observation. For weeks, Cardi B remained completely silent, and this silence itself became louder than any statement she could have made. Fans and critics alike started noticing her absence from the ongoing debates and discussions. People expected her to post something, call out Tasha K, or address the controversy directly, as she had done in the past, but nothing came. Instead, she seemed calm, almost distant, observing everything from a quiet place. This unexpected restraint caught everyone off guard. Industry insiders began speculating. Was Cardi tired of the back and forth? Was she planning something bigger? Or was she simply choosing to rise above the noise? This period of silence wasn't just a lack of reaction. It was strategic. Every tweet, post, and public comment that could have escalated the tension was deliberately avoided. Her fans began to sense that something significant was brewing beneath the surface. The suspense built naturally, making everyone wonder, if she's not speaking, what could she possibly do that would finally change the game? Cardi B's calm wasn't weakness. It was the quiet before a storm. The unspoken preparation for an action that no one saw coming. For weeks, Cardi B's silence became the talk of social media, and in a way, it was louder than any statement she could have made. Normally, she was quick to respond, never shying away from defending herself or speaking her mind, but this time, she chose a completely different approach. She didn't post, comment, or share any reaction to Tasha K's ongoing coverage or the subtle digs being thrown online. Fans who were used to her bold and immediate responses began noticing the unusual calm. Critics speculated endlessly. Some thought she was ignoring Tasha K because she didn't see the issue as important, while others believed Cardi B was carefully planning her next move. Even media insiders commented on the unexpected restraint, highlighting that silence from someone of her stature could be just as powerful as words. During this quiet period, Cardi's team reportedly monitored every social media interaction, every article, and every public response from Tasha K, taking note of patterns and timing. Unlike typical celebrity disputes that escalate through posts and interviews, Cardi B's silence created a different kind of tension, one that made people anxious, curious, and increasingly aware of the stakes. Her calm was a strategic pause, a period of observation and preparation. Fans felt it too. The energy on social platforms shifted. Every post, every comment, and even every meme referencing the feud seemed amplified because Cardi herself said nothing. It was clear to everyone paying attention that this wasn't a lapse in attention or avoidance. It was intentional. Cardi B's silence communicated restraint, self-control, and most importantly, that she was thinking carefully before acting. People began speculating what could possibly break the quiet. Some predicted a public statement, others imagined an interview, and a few expected an indirect attack. But the truth was, no one could predict the form her response would take. Her silence alone had created a suspense that made her eventual move feel inevitable, yet completely unguessable. By stepping back, Cardi B had turned the tension into her ally, setting the stage for something so impactful that it would leave fans, critics, and even Tasha K stunned. After weeks of carefully calculated silence, Cardi B finally made her move, one that no one expected. It wasn't a loud post, a dramatic video, or a public confrontation. Instead, it was strategic, subtle, and completely in control, leaving everyone shocked by the level of thought behind it. Cardi B released a simple but powerful statement, not aimed to attack, shame, or escalate the situation, but to set the record straight in a way that only she could. She addressed the issue with clarity, professionalism, and an unmistakable sense of authority, making it clear that she would not be drawn into petty arguments, yet she would protect her reputation and integrity at all costs. The statement was crafted in a way that felt personal but dignified. Every word seemed intentional, every phrase carefully chosen to deliver maximum impact without drama. Instead of feeding into controversy, she reframed the narrative entirely, turning the spotlight on her own growth, her perspective, and her maturity. Fans immediately noticed the difference. This wasn't a reaction born out of anger or ego. It was a statement that spoke volumes through silence and precision. Social media exploded, not with chaos, but with amazement. People couldn't stop talking about the unthinkable step she had taken. She had turned the tension into a powerful moment of control, proving that true influence didn't come from shouting louder than anyone else, but from knowing exactly when and how to act. Even Tasha K, who had been waiting for a reaction, found herself unprepared. Cardi B had taken the initiative without confrontation, without aggression, and without giving her any direct way to respond immediately. The industry buzzed with commentary. This was being called a career-defining moment, a masterclass in public relations and personal power. Cardi B had achieved something rare. She had ended the speculation, commanded respect, and controlled the narrative, all while remaining composed and confident. This was not just a celebrity feud. It was a display of strategy, patience, and undeniable presence that would be remembered by fans and insiders alike. The moment Cardi B's statement went public, Tasha K was taken completely off guard. She had anticipated a dramatic response, maybe a fiery video, a viral post, or some public outburst, but nothing like this had happened. Instead of a fight, Cardi B had delivered calm, precise, and strategic words that completely shifted the narrative. Tasha K initially tried to maintain her usual composed, confident public persona, appearing unaffected in interviews and online posts. Outwardly, she acted as though she had expected this all along, but internally, the impact was undeniable. She realized that the power dynamic had subtly but decisively changed. For Tasha K, the unthinkable part wasn't just Cardi B speaking up, it was the way she did it. By remaining professional, measured, and dignified, Cardi had taken control of a story that Tasha had assumed she could influence. The sudden clarity in Cardi's message left Tasha questioning her previous strategies and even reconsidering her own public tactics. She understood, perhaps for the first time, that direct confrontation or sensationalism wouldn't always work against someone who knew how to wield silence and timing as a tool. Inside her team, discussions grew tense. Every possible response was weighed, analyzed, and debated. But the truth was clear. Cardi B had moved the conversation in a direction Tasha K hadn't prepared for. For the first time, Tasha felt a real sense of being outmaneuvered, as if the ground beneath her influence had subtly shifted. Fans quickly picked up on this dynamic too. While Tasha continued her usual commentary, it lacked the punch it once had, and the social media narrative began favoring Cardi B's strategic, unshakable approach. The realization hit. This wasn't just another celebrity feud anymore. It had become a masterclass in strategy, control, and presence. And Tasha K was witnessing firsthand the power of measured action over impulsive reaction. The moment Cardi B's statement went public, Tasha K was taken completely off guard. She had anticipated a dramatic response, maybe a fiery video, a viral post, or some public outburst, but nothing like this had happened. Instead of a fight, Cardi B had delivered calm, precise, and strategic words that completely shifted the narrative. Tasha K initially tried to maintain her usual composed, confident public persona, appearing unaffected in interviews and online posts. Outwardly, she acted as though she had expected this all along, but internally, the impact was undeniable. She realized that the power dynamic had subtly but decisively changed. For Tasha K, the unthinkable part wasn't just Cardi B speaking up, it was the way she did it. By remaining professional, measured, and dignified, Cardi had taken control of a story that Tasha had assumed she could influence. The sudden clarity in Cardi's message left Tasha questioning her previous strategies and even reconsidering her own public tactics. She understood, perhaps for the first time, that direct confrontation or sensationalism wouldn't always work against someone who knew how to wield silence and timing as a tool. Inside her team, discussions grew tense. Every possible response was weighed, analyzed, and debated. But the truth was clear. Cardi B had moved the conversation in a direction Tasha K hadn't prepared for. For the first time, Tasha felt a real sense of being outmaneuvered, as if the ground beneath her influence had subtly shifted. Fans quickly picked up on this dynamic too. While Tasha continued her usual commentary, it lacked the punch it once had. And the social media narrative began favoring Cardi B's strategic, unshakable approach. The realization hit. This wasn't just another celebrity feud anymore. It had become a masterclass in strategy, control, and presence, and Tasha K was witnessing firsthand the power of measured action over impulsive reaction. The moment Cardi B's statement went public, Tasha K experienced a shock she hadn't anticipated. She had spent weeks preparing for a response, expecting Cardi to react emotionally, posting a viral video, going on a rant, or dropping a scathing comment. But instead, Cardi had taken an approach that was entirely unexpected. Her statement was calm, precise, and carried authority without aggression. For Tasha, this was not just surprising, it was unsettling. Outwardly, she tried to maintain her usual confident and composed public image, posting and speaking as if nothing had changed. She laughed at jokes, made casual commentary, and continued her normal coverage on social media. But inside, the impact of Cardi's calculated move hit hard. As she reread Cardi B's words and observed the immediate reactions online, a sense of internal shock set in. Every phrase Cardi had written had purpose, every sentence controlled, every message layered with subtle strength. Tasha K realized that she had underestimated the level of thought and strategy Cardi B had invested in her silence. Cardi hadn't attacked, insulted, or tried to dominate the conversation in a conventional sense. She had reframed the entire narrative, making it clear that the story was no longer about conflict. It was about her authority, reputation, and personal integrity. The realization sank in slowly, almost painfully. Tasha K recognized that the usual tactics she relied on, provocation, stirring debate, or exploiting controversy, were now ineffective. Cardi had raised the stakes by turning restraint into power, proving that influence could be more persuasive than aggression. Internally, Tasha began to question her own strategy. Should she respond at all? Would any reaction she made appear petty compared to Cardi B's composed move? Even her team, who had been confident in their approach, found themselves second-guessing every next step, trying to calculate a strategy that could counter Cardi's unexpected precision. The tension was quiet but profound. While Tasha K maintained her usual outward demeanor, those close to the situation could sense her unease. The balance of power had subtly shifted, and for the first time, Tasha K felt the weight of being outmaneuvered. Fans and industry observers immediately picked up on the change. While Tasha continued her commentary, it lacked the previous authority, as the public narrative had largely shifted toward Cardi's measured, thoughtful, and undeniable presence. In that moment, it became clear, what had started as a typical celebrity feud had transformed into a lesson in strategy, patience, and control, one that Tasha K was forced to witness, understand, and to some extent respect. As soon as Cardi B's statement hit the public, the reaction was immediate and widespread. Social media exploded with discussions, opinions, and reactions from fans, celebrities, and media personalities alike. Unlike most celebrity controversies that spark heated arguments or viral feuds, this response was different. People weren't just reacting to what was said, but how it was said. Cardi's calm, precise, and strategic words became the main talking point. Fans praised her maturity, calling it a masterclass in handling conflict, and applauding her for taking the high road while still asserting her position. Every post, retweet, and comment highlighted how unusual and powerful her approach was, and hashtags related to the situation started trending globally, reflecting the magnitude of the moment. Industry insiders and commentators also weighed in. Media analysts described Cardi B's move as a game-changing moment in celebrity public relations, noting that it demonstrated the power of patience, strategy, and silence. People admired how she had managed to control the narrative without creating additional drama, showing a level of professionalism rarely seen in celebrity feuds. Even competing artists and influencers discussed her action in interviews, praising her ability to navigate a tense situation with composure. This public and professional approval only reinforced the impact of her move. At the same time, opinions were divided in subtle ways. Some skeptics argued that the statement was calculated for attention or that Cardi B had timed it perfectly for maximum impact. Yet even critics couldn't deny that the execution had been flawless. They admitted that by reframing the situation and maintaining her dignity, she had successfully shifted the conversation in her favor. Social media users dissected every word, praised her restraint, and debated the implications, further amplifying Cardi B's influence. Ultimately, this response didn't just dominate online conversations, it reshaped perceptions. Fans and industry figures alike recognized that Cardi B had done more than address a controversy. She had set a standard for strategic action in public conflicts, proving that influence doesn't come from shouting the loudest, but from acting at the right moment with precision and confidence. The public and industry's reaction cemented the moment as a defining one in her career, marking it as an unthinkable, yet undeniably powerful move that everyone would remember. One of the most remarkable aspects of this entire situation was that Cardi B didn't need to dominate interviews, go on a media tour, or post continuous updates to make her point. Her action itself, calm, precise, and deliberate, spoke louder than any words she could have shouted online. The unthinkable move sent a clear, silent message. True power comes from timing, strategy, and restraint, not from reacting impulsively or feeding into drama. Fans, commentators, and even rivals quickly understood that Cardi had turned a potential conflict into a display of intelligence and control. Her silence before the move, followed by a carefully constructed statement, showed that she was in complete control of both the narrative and the emotions surrounding it. The brilliance of the approach was in how it communicated strength without aggression. Cardi B didn't need to belittle Tasha K or call out past grievances. She simply demonstrated, through composure and clarity, that she commanded respect on her own terms. Every fan, influencer, and media figure who read or discussed her statement recognized this subtlety. It was a lesson in public relations, influence, and personal boundaries, a demonstration of how measured actions can have far more impact than loud reactions. The silence before the statement made the moment more powerful because it created anticipation and suspense, making the public pay attention when she finally chose to speak. Even more importantly, the silent message reinforced Cardi B's personal growth and maturity. Fans who had followed her career closely noticed that she had evolved. She no longer needed to defend herself aggressively or participate in petty disputes to prove her worth. Instead, she had learned the value of strategy and patience. The public, reading between the lines, understood that Cardi's calm control was her statement, and it resonated on a level beyond the initial controversy. By choosing her moment and her words carefully, Cardi B demonstrated that influence is not about who yells the loudest, but about who acts with purpose, precision, and self-assurance.